Hey, it's Ariane. So today I'm going to be grading every NBA team's offseason. This video did take me a while to make. I had to make a script for it. It's been done for 3 weeks, the script has, but I wanted to record it as late as possible so all the big deals have been done and the grades are as finalized as possible. So I give a grade for their draft, trades, and free agency signings. If they didn't have one, usually I give them a non-applicable. There's some exceptions, which you'll see later in the video. Keep in mind, I graded very strictly. I gave a C as an average. So if your team got a C, that doesn't even mean they did bad. That means they did league average. So keep that in mind while you're watching this video. First, I have the Atlanta Hawks draft an A. Mari Spellman can turn into Draymond Green. Kevin Huerter can turn into Klay Thompson. Trae Young can turn into Steph Curry. Obviously, this is if they reach their max potential. I think they set themselves up for success. Trades-wise, I gave them a D-. I think they could have got a mid to late 2019 first-round pick for Dennis Schroeder and Mike Muscala. Instead, they get a 2022 lottery-protected first-round pick. And to take on the Melo contract, you only get Justin Anderson and 29-year-old Jeremy Lin as incentives. I thought you could get a first-round pick out of it. So I give them D-. Free agency signings, C. No major signings player-wise. Obviously, Bud went to Milwaukee, so they got completely different coaches. They did get Greg Foster, who was the former Bucks big man coach. They got somebody from the Warriors front office who assembled that Warriors team, which I think comes in key because their draft, if the players turn out good, you could be looking at the next Warriors dynasty. Overall, I gave them a C. I think it's John Collins. I think John Collins will improve this year. Their center, who was a very good first-round pick last year. Overall, C. Boston Celtics, their draft, I gave it A+. Robert Williams was a projected lottery pick. Got him in the very late first round. Amazing. Trades, not applicable. I didn't give them a grade for that. For agent signings, I did give them a D+. Aaron Baines, 2-year, $11 million. That's solid. I would have liked 2-year, $8 million. Marcus Smart, here's a big problem. 4-year, $52 million. That was a horrible decision. Marcus Smart is a great player, but you guys are really deep at forwards. You have a lot of young players that you're going to need to pay. By paying Marcus Smart, how are you going to pay Terry Rozier, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum? The list goes on and on. So I think that was a horrible move. I would have let him walk or signed him to a 1-year, $13 million deal. It's because they're deep at forwards. Letting Greg Monroe walk, I think if you got him on a minimum contract, that would have been better. Regardless, overall I give them a B-. Brooklyn Nets. So they drafted Janan Musa. I probably mispronounced that. Okay. Look, I'm not saying he's going to be Kobe. Okay, I don't want anybody in the comment section saying I said he's going to be Kobe. But they said in the EuroLeague, he's being compared to Kobe. That's all I'm going to say about that. No more. They also drafted another European draft and stash 3-and-D player. Trades, I give them an A. They took on Kenneth Faried, $13 million for 1 year, and Drell Arthur, $7 million for 1 year, and a 2019 top 12 protected first-round pick and 2020 second-round pick in addition to that. And then they flipped Drell Arthur for Jared Bayless, who's taking $8.5 million on 1 year for a 2021 second-round pick. So basically, they took on bad contracts and got a lot of picks out of it, which is smart if you're trying to rebuild and you don't have any picks. Free agent signing, C-. Joe Harris, 2 years, $16 million. I know Joe Harris can be a very solid backup piece if you're contending, but I don't see how it fits into the Nets timeline. I would have let him go or signed him to a 1-year, $7 million deal and then use him as an asset and traded him at the trade deadline. Overall, I gave them a B. Pretty quiet offseason for the Nets. Charlotte Hornets, I gave them a B in the draft. Miles Bridges, I like that pick. Devontae Graham, I don't really like because Kansas, they have produced players that don't really develop in the NBA. Frank Mason III, Andrew Wiggins. I did like the Hamidou Diallo pick. He has a lot of potential in my opinion. Trades, I gave them a D. They didn't make any trades, but the only reason I didn't give them non-applicable is because I think they could have chose the direction of their franchise if they traded somebody. So I would have looked forward to them trading Kemba or maybe Nicola Batum. Free agent signings, C. They didn't sign any big players, but they did get a new coach. The coach was in the pop tree, obviously. He was a assistant coach for the Spurs. Overall, I give them a C. Another quiet offseason. I really hope they finally do something with Kemba. Either trade him or put talent around him. Don't just let his career rot over there. Chicago Bulls, draft, I gave them B+. In my opinion, Wendell Carter Jr. is going to be Al Horford. Don't know much about Chandler Hutchinson. He had a pretty quiet summer league. Trades, I gave them B-. Jerian Grant for Julian Stone. They just did it so they saved $1 million in cap rooms. They did have too many point guards, so I see why they did it. Free agent signings, I gave them D+. Zach LaVine, 4 years, $78 million is way too much. I know he was a big part in the Minnesota Timberwolves trade, but you have a lot of young pieces that you have to pay on top of that. Jabari Parker contract is a horrible decision. I'm not just saying this because I'm a salty Bucks fan. Look, let's say he turns into an MVP player. Okay, you have him for 2 years. Let's say he tears his ACL again. Okay, you only have him for 1 year. The risk is very low, but the reward is also very low. If I were the Bulls, I would rather taken on the Carmelo contract and got a first-round pick out of it. Also, his comments on defense, that's not what you want to hear. They have way too many power forwards. Bobby Portis, Lauri Markkanen, Wendell Carter, Jabari. I understand some of them can play center or small forward, but that's not how you try to build your team around all power forwards. Overall, I give them a C+. Cleveland Cavaliers, draft, I give them B. Colin Sexton, good pick, good summer league. Trades, B. Love the Sam Dekker trade. I've seen him a little bit in Wisconsin. I think he can be a poor man's JJ Redick. Team gets younger. If I were them, make more trades. Try to trade Kevin Love. Also, the free agent signings, I give them D-. You re-sign Kevin Love to an outrageous 4-year, $120 million deal. I don't know how you're going to trade him anymore. I think he lost all of his trade value. 4-year, $80 million, which would be what I would be more happy if they signed him to that. You also let Jeff Green walk and replace him with David Nwaba, which I understand Jeff Green, you don't really want him because you're not trying to win now. At least I don't think you are. But why David Nwaba? I know he's young, but he's not going to help you. Failed to come to a contract agreement with Rodney Hood. Most likely, he got signed to a qualifying offer. At the point I'm recording this video, it's not done, his contract, but it's looking more and more like he's going to take the qualifying offer, which is a bad decision because he's a young player which you want on your team. Overall, D+, you're stuck in no man's land. You gotta choose a direction of your franchise. Dallas Mavericks, draft, I give them an A+. Luka at 5 is amazing. Even though you get a first round, even though you have to give up a first round pick, if you can get the EuroLeague All-Star at 17 years old and get him as a fifth overall pick, that's an A+. Even though I think he's going to be a bust because I don't think he has the athleticism needed to be in the NBA. Jalen Brunson, love the pick. Villanova talent transfers, amazing. Ray Spalding, he has to be a baller. I mean, his last name's Spalding. Kostas Antetokounmpo, again, amazing pick. Yes, he averaged 5 points at Dayton, but Giannis wasn't that good at first either, was he? Last pick, I mean, it's low risk, very high reward. If anything, marketing, it's so smart because you get like half of Greece now are Mavericks fans, half are Bucks fans. Smart move in marketing. I believe there was a person named, I forgot his name, but they also drafted the first Indian player a couple years ago. I know this doesn't deal with this, but I want to talk about it really quickly. I watched a Netflix documentary on him. Mark Cuban is a marketing genius because he drafted the first Indian player in the late second round. He knew he was going to be a bust, which he was, but then all of India were Mavericks fans. Now, drafting Kostas, half of Greece are Mavericks fans. Just so smart on the marketing portion of it. Trade's not applicable. Free agent signings, see DeAndre Jordan, 1 year, $24 million deal. I respect trying to compete, but I think it's the wrong move. I think try to rebuild for 1 more year. Overall, I give them an A. Draft was amazing. Thinking on the marketing side was amazing. Denver Nuggets, draft A. Michael Porter Jr. was a steal at 14. Even if he's a bust, what are the chances you get even a role player at 14? Not very high. Low risk, high reward. Might not play this season. Not a big deal in my opinion. Trades, I give them a B. You get rid of all your bad contracts. Trade Chandler Wilson for second round pick and future swap pick to Sixers for cash considerations. Trade Kenneth Faried, Darrell Arthur, 2019 top 12 protected first round pick and 2020 second round pick to Nets for Isaiah Whitehead. Basically, you get rid of all your bad contracts, give away a bunch of picks. You had to do that eventually. Smart move in my opinion. Free agent signings, B. Isaiah Thomas, 1 year, $2.3 million. I'm not as high on it as other people are. If he's willing to come off the bench, that'd be nice. Bucket getter off the bench. Could backfire a lot though if he thinks he's 1A. Overall, B+. They really swallowed their pride and just traded all of their picks and bad contracts, which I thought I love that personally. Golden State Warriors, draft C. Jacob Evans at 28th. Don't know much about him. Not gonna lie. Trades not applicable. No trades. Free agent signings A+. Resign Katie. That's the bingo right there. Resign Quinn Cook. Resign Kevon Looney. Signed Jonas Drebko, which I don't know why the Jazz waived him. I thought he's a very good, solid role player. Signed DeMarcus Cousins. Wow. Honestly. Your only weak link was center. And now your center position is good too. So, I don't know. I don't think you can be beat now. You kept your core intact and you made your team better, which is obviously an A+. Overall, A. They strengthened their team. Amazing. Warriors done it again. Houston Rockets draft, I give them an A. Not gonna lie, 2 weeks before the NBA draft, DeAnthony Melton was projected to go into teens. I actually told my friends I wanted the Bucks to pick DeAnthony Melton at 17. Then he started falling into projections. I was like, that was probably a bad decision for me. So, if you get him in the late second round, that was amazing, which was what the Rockets did. He was, like I said, projected 15 to 25 3 weeks before draft. He couldn't play second season because of FBI investigation, which is probably why his draft stock plummeted. Again, he had an amazing summer league draft in A. Trade not applicable, no trades. Free agent signings B. You lost Luka Mbah-a-Moute and Trevor Ariza, which you can't do anything about. You signed Carmelo Anthony and James Ennis III. But the real big one here is you re-signed Clint Capella to a 5-year, $90 million contract. Capella's signing was huge. I think Carmelo Anthony can help more than other people think he can. I think James Ennis III can easily take Luka Mbah-a-Moute's role. Overall, I'll give them a B. Indiana Pacers, draft B-. Aaron Holiday, I like the pick. I saw him at UCLA a little bit. Didn't have the best game in the NCAA 64, Final 64. March Madness, obviously. They needed point guard help. Good decision. Trade's not applicable. Free agent signings, D. They didn't re-sign Lance Stevenson. I thought you should have. You do sign Tyreek Evans to a 1-year, $12 million deal. I didn't like it. I think he's going to regress this year because he got to take all the shots with the Grizzlies last year. Doug McDermott, 3-year, $22 million. Way too much. he's a much worse version of Kyle Korver. Kyle Quinn, 1 year, $5 million. Don't like it. I think he's washed up. Overall, I give them a D+. Los Angeles Clippers, draft, I give them the C-. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's an amazing pick, okay? But here's the problem. Jerome Robinson was projected an early second-round pick 2 weeks before the draft. I know projections aren't everything, but I bet you half the people coming into the draft didn't know who Jerome Robinson was or who he played for, which was Boston College. So, wasn't a big fan of that. Trades F. Trying to rebuild and trade Sam Decker, who can help you rebuild, and trade him for nothing. On top of that, you have to trade Patrick Beverley and Milos Teodosic. Right now, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is your third-string point guard, which is not good. You want him to get starting minutes to rebuild. Free agent signing C-. Luka Mbah-a-Moute, Avery Bradley, Montrezl Harrell. Love the Montrezl Harrell one. Avery Bradley, not a big fan of. Luka Mbah-a-Moute, he doesn't fit into a rebuilding process. He's good for somebody who's trying to win now. Overall, I give them a D. You have to choose direction of your franchise. I love Tobias Harris, but I have to trade him because you're trying to rebuild and he's not going to help you rebuild. Los Angeles Lakers, draft D+. Moritz Wagner was made for the college game. I don't think Mo Wagner is going to translate to the NBA, even though he did have a very good summer league. Again, not good athleticism, which I think is key. You got Malik Newman. He went undrafted. I think that was a big plus. I love his athleticism. I think his shooting can improve. I know he went to Kansas, but, we'll see. For undrafted, I like it. Trade C+. They didn't make any trades, but I just gave him C+ because I'm very happy they didn't trade for Kawhi. I know what happened with the Paul George situation, them not trading for it. But I don't think it was worth losing a bunch of young pieces for Kawhi, especially since he said he has a lot of interest in coming to LA next year. I know Paul George said it too, okay? Different situation though. Free agent signings B+. Overpaid all their 1-year deals, which I'm perfectly fine with because they're 1-year deals. I think next year they're gonna get the second star to help LeBron. Obviously, they signed LeBron. That's an A+ right there. Did not overpay for somebody like Cousins or Isaiah Thomas. I love that, how they didn't just waste their money like the 1 year they did with Luol Deng and Mo and their center, that big Russian dude. They could not re-sign Julius Randle. I would have loved it if they could re-sign him. I know they were strict against the cap. They didn't have much of a budget. Overall, I give them B. Memphis Grizzlies, draft, I gave them a D. Josh Jackson Jr. will be a bust. I'm telling you right now. He has no unique skill set that sets him apart from all the other centers in the league. I love the Javon Carter pick. I think he'll be a very solid player in the NBA. I think he'll turn into a Patrick Beverley type of player. I saw him a lot in West Virginia. I absolutely loved his play. He had a great combine. Trades, I gave them an F. If you're rebuilding and you trade Ben McLemore and Deontay Davis for a washed-up Garrett Temple, I don't know what to say. You trade Ben McLemore and Deontay Davis for Garrett Temple. How does that help you rebuild? If any of the Grizzlies fans can explain that to me in the comments section, I will be very thankful. You already have Mike Conley and Javon Carter at point guard. Doesn't make sense. Free agent signings D-. Signed Kyle Anderson to a 4-year, $37 million contract. Not a good decision. So far in his career, he's averaging less than 5 points a game in 18 minutes of play. Omri Caspi doesn't help you rebuild. Hate to break it to you. Shouldn't have signed him. Overall, D-. Only reason you didn't get an F is because you drafted Javon Carter. Grizzlies fans are going to hate me after this. Miami Heat, draft not applicable. No picks. Trades not applicable. No trades. Free agent signing C+. Re-sign Wayne Ellington. 1 year, $6 million. Good decision. Overall, C minus. I think you could have helped your team with the Hassan Whiteside trade. You know, I know they are. He and Pat Riley had a good talk, and they're back on terms. I still think you should trade him to like somebody like the Bucks or maybe even the Suns while DeAndre Ayton is learning from Hassan Whiteside. Now the big one, Milwaukee Bucks. I give them a B plus in the draft. I think Dante DiVincenzo was a great pick. So far, the Bucks in the previous drafts, they have always drafted people that had high ceilings but very high potential to be a bust. DJ Wilson not looking like a great pick. Rashad Vaughn wasn't a great pick. The list goes on and on. Sure, Giannis worked out, but it was just a lucky. No, I can't say lucky pick, but it happens one in a million times. The goal to win with the Bucks is you gotta surround Giannis with shooters, right? With drafting Dante DiVincenzo, that's exactly what you're doing. That's why the Sixers are so successful, because they surrounded Ben Simmons with shooters. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Low ceiling, high floor. Trade's not applicable. Free agent signings, B minus. The Bucks had the right idea with signing shooters, but I think they overpaid Ersan. I loved the Brook Lopez signing. Ersan Ilyasova, 3-year, $22 million. I think you could have got him on a 2-year, $14 million deal. And you also need to save money for next year because you have to sign Chris Middleton, Eric Bledsoe, I believe Malcolm Brogdon too. Shabazz Muhammad, not much there. I mean, it's just a training camp deal. Signing Christian Wood, that was a big one. I loved it. Again, it's just a training camp deal, but at least you have him on your roster. Letting go Jabari. I have a Jabari Parker jersey. Love him because he went to Duke. But I understand why they but they didn't re-sign him. Because I would rather have Chris Middleton on my team, possibly even Malcolm Brogdon, than Jabari Parker. Malcolm Brogdon is just a great guy. I know that doesn't deal with basketball, but he just really helps the locker room, which Jabari doesn't do. And I'll let you know a secret. If the Bucks really wanted Jabari, they would have kept him. If Giannis really wanted Jabari, he would have let the front office know. Trust me. Signing Trevon Duval to a 2-way contract. I love this. I think he's better than Gary Trent Jr., who was picked in the early second round. I think he's a better shooter, more explosive than Gary Trent Jr. I don't know how he went undrafted. Jalen Morris, 2-way contract. Not a big fan of. Not going to lie, I didn't see much of. I'd rather have Xavier Munford, though. Why sign Pat Connaughton when you can have Munford? I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. Overall, I give them a B. Minnesota Timberwolves draft B minus. Josh Okogie, don't know much about. Keita Bates-Diop. I did know that he was supposed to be a projected late first-round pick. They got him in the second round, which is great. Trade's not applicable. Free agent signings, B minus. Anthony Tolliver and Derrick Rose are good pickups. Letting Nemanja Bjelica walk. I mean, there's not much there. Overall, B minus. New Orleans Pelicans, I gave them a C plus in a draft. Tony Carr, I like the pick, helped their lack of depth at the guard position. Personally, I would have taken the risk of drafting Kostas because you got Tony Carr, I believe, at the 55th pick. Trade's not applicable. Free agent signings, I give them a C. You let Rondo go, and to replace him, you signed Alfred Payton. You let Cousins go, and instead of him, you signed Julius Randle. And on top of that, you signed Julius Okafor and Ian Clark. Basically, you signed similar players to the ones you let go, but the worst version of them. I personally don't even have them making the playoffs next year. I'm not a big fan of it. Sure, you save some money, but I personally would have loved to keep Rondo if I was the Pelicans. Overall, C, they didn't really address their guard problem and small forward problem. New York Knicks draft A. Kevin Knox, I think, will be Paul George. Mitchell Robinson, he was projected to go into 20s. He went 36 and had a great summer league. Trades not applicable. Free agent signings B-. Mario Hezonja, love to pick up. He has a lot of potential. I can't say he has a lot of potential, but he went in very early lottery for a good reason, right? Sure, he was in the EuroLeague, but still. At 23, I think he might have some untapped potential. 1 year, $6.5 million. Low risk, high reward. Re-sign Luke Cornett, whatever. Overall B+. No stupid signings to try to win now. They just continue to rebuild. Starting to get it right in New York, believe it or not. Oklahoma City Thunder, draft C+. Hamidou Diallo, I love the pick. Loads of potential. And they also drafted 2 other late second round picks, which I'm not going to talk about. Trades not applicable. They made a couple small trades with some no names. With all due respect, I understand if you make the NBA, that's an amazing accomplishment. Just making college basketball is an amazing accomplishment. But I'm not really going to talk about those trades. Free agent signings A+. Re-sign Paul George. That's a big one right there. For 4 years, that's the key. Not just 1 year. It's a 4-year deal. Re-sign the fattest player in the NBA, Raymond Felton. Pick up Nerlens Noel on a very good deal. Re-sign Jeremy Grant. Overall, I give them an A-. Orlando Magic. Draft, I give them an A-. I love the Mo Bamba pick if you do a good job coaching it. See, the problem is you don't develop talent very good, right? That's why you're not winning, similar to the Sacremento Kings. If you develop him good, he can turn into Rudy Gobert with a jump shot. If you don't, he could turn into Thon Maker. And with all due respect to Thon Maker, I think he's going to take a massive leap this year. But what I mean by that is a lot of raw talent that's not being used as well as it could be. Trades, I give them an F. Trade Bismack Biyombo for Timofey Mozgov and Jaren Grant. I think you could have got 2 second-round picks for Bismack. Also, I would have traded Nikola Vucevic. It was even worse than the Ibaka trade. Remember when they traded him with, I believe it was the Thunder? Yes, the Thunder. No, I believe actually it was the Raptors. That trade was horrible. Free agent signings D-. Aaron Gordon, 4-year, $80 million. Too much. You don't match Mario Hezonja for 1 year, $6.5 million, which was a bad decision. Overall, I give them D-. Another horrible offseason for the Magic. If you're in the Magic's front office listening to this, contact me. I promise you I'll get your franchise right. I won't even ask for that much money. Just $300,000 a year. Mad respect to Orlando Magic fans, if there's any still out there. You're the real MVP out there. Philadelphia 76ers. I give them a D in the draft. You had Mikal Bridges, who I think is most NBA-ready player in the draft. Villanova product, again, amazing. But what you do is you trade him for Zaire Smith, who ended up breaking his foot in training camp. I understand you get first-round pick out of it, but I would have loved to see Mikal Bridges with the Sixers. I think it could help them win now, while Zaire Smith is a project. Trades B+. You got salary room to take on, so you get a solid backup in Wilson Chandler and 2 second-round picks out of the deal. I loved it, you got salary, you have to use it. You might as well get a good player out of it. Free agent signing C-. You were unable to re-sign Ilyasova and Bellinelli, but you do re-sign J.J. Redick and Amir Johnson. Only reason I didn't give a lower grade was because you didn't sign any bad contracts. Hopefully you'll do get into buyout market this year like you did last year. Overall I give it a C-. Pheonix Suns draft A. Although I'm not very high on DeAndre Ayton. I'm positive he's not going to be as good as people say he will be. I think he's going to turn into DeAndre Jordan or Clint Capella, somewhere between there. But I get why you drafted him at 1. It was a consensus number 1 pick. I would have loved Marvin Bagley, though. You get Mikal Bridges. That's why I gave you an A. Because you got two very talented players, even though I would think one's going to be a bust. And you only had one pick, and you got two. Sure, you gave up a first-round pick, but I think it was a very good deal. You saw it happen with Zaire Smith. He already broke his foot in training camp. Loved it. Mikal Bridges will help you win now. He'll keep Devin Booker happy, probably. Trades B. I don't make much of the trade, but you basically get Rashawn Holmes and Darrell Arthur for Jared Bayless, which helps your bench. Basically improve your bench. Not much there. Free agent signings, A-. You overpaid Trevor Ariza, which I don't mind at all because it's a one-year deal, and you have the cap space anyway. The main reason I give it A- though is because you signed Devin Booker to a 5-year deal, even though he expressed a lot of I don't want to say angry, but he was upset at the Suns for letting go of Tyler Ulis, other stuff here and there, his quotes about done not making the playoffs. Overall, A-. Suns did a very job rebuilding. I think they're ready to compete again. I don't have them making the playoffs this year, but I think they might make it next year. Portland Trailblazers. C- in the draft. You reached on Fernie Simmons. Skill set a little raw for my liking. He went to IMG Academy. Love the Gary Trent Jr. pick. They did address positions of need, which was guards and small forward. Trade's not applicable. Free agent signings B. You're able to re-sign Jusuf Nurkic, which I love, to a very reasonable 4-year, $48 million contract. Able to re-sign Seth Curry, Nick Stauskas, which I also thought was amazing. Only reason I didn't give you an A was because you couldn't re-sign Ed Davis, who Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, Jusuf Nurkic, they all loved. Blazers made it clear that they wanted him back on the squad, but the front office said no. Overall, I give them B-. Sacremento Kings, draft, I give them B+. It was a very controversial pick, but I think choosing Marvin Bagley was the correct pick. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little sad they got him at second because I love Marvin Bagley. I thought he can turn into a star. He has a skill set to be a star in the new modern NBA. He's a big that can shoot and dribble, use the floor, spread the floor, all of that. But I think the Kings will waste his talent, unfortunately. Trades A+. Traded a washed-up Garrett Temple for Deontay Davis and Ben McLemore. I don't know who's in the Memphis Grizzlies front office. I think it's a 2-year-old. But anyway, amazing deal for the Kings. I can't believe I said that. It's the Kings for crying out loud. But you trade washed-up Garrett Temple for Deontay Davis, who has a lot of potential. And Ben McLemore can help you win, too. You also get a second-round pick, which is a cherry on the top for me. Free agent signings, D. Your only free agent signing was Nemanja Bjelica, which you pulled the Kings and screwed it up. Paid him way too much. Overall, B. Kings had a great offseason. If they didn't sign Nemanja Bjelica, I would have gave them an A-. San Antonio Spurs. Draft, I give them an A. They got lottery-level talent at the 18th pick, which was Lonnie Walker, of course. He had a very solid summer league. Trade B+. Kawhi had little trade value. When I say little trade value, compared to the average top 5 player in the NBA. And you still got good value for him. It helps you win now and win later. Free agent signings, A-. Great decision not to match Kyle Anderson's contract. Re-signed Davis Bertans, Rudy Gay, and Bryn Forbes, which I love. Also signed Marco Bellinelli and Dante Cunningham. I think those were great decisions. Overall, A+. Toronto Raptors, draft not applicable. They had no picks. Trade A, you get Kawhi and you get rid of DeMar DeRozan contract. I know that DeRozan was loyal to the Raptors, but I didn't really like his contract. As great of a player he is, I don't think he lives up to the contract. You also get Danny Green, which I love. I'm really high on Jakob Poeltl. I think he can be a great, solid starting center in this league. You have to let him go, but I understand that. You also have a lot of young talent at center and power forward, so it's fine that you let him go. Hopefully Pascal Siakam can take the next step and have the production that Jakob Poeltl had. Overall, I think it was a great decision. Put all your chips on the table this year. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't. See what happens. Free agent signing C+. You didn't really improve your team, but you did re-sign Fred VanVleet. And you also signed Greg Monroe, which I loved, for a minimum contract. I think he can really help you. Overall, B+. I would have given you guys an A, or maybe even an A+ if you got rid of the Lowry contract. But you did improve your team a little bit through free agency. Not much, though. And trades, of course, obviously. Alright, we're almost done. We're at the home stretch. Utah Jazz draft D+. Listen, do not, just hear me out before you start commenting. Oh, you're stupid. I am the biggest Grayson Allen fan in the whole world. Okay? But I'm not going to lie. The way he plays does not transfer to the NBA. He's an amazing college player. I get he had an amazing combine, but his talents will not transfer to the NBA like Mo Wagner. But I admit, again, I hope he proves me wrong. I truly hope that. Again, he is my favorite player, no doubt about it. My two favorite players in the college game were Grayson Allen and Christian Laettner. I really hope he proves me wrong. But Donovan Mitchell wanted the Utah Jazz to draft him, so there's no complaining there. Trade's not applicable. Free agent signings, D-. You overpay Derek Favors, 2-year, $36 million. Bad decision. You also overpay Dante Exum, 3-year, $33 million. Bad decision. You waive Jonas Jerebko, who's actually a really nice bench piece who can help you spread the floor and shoot the three. You pretty much blew all your money and lost the opportunity to improve your team for 2 to 3 years by re-signing Derek Favors and Dante Exum. Overall, I give them a D-. Washington Wizards draft, I give them a D. Troy Brown Jr. was projected to go in the 20s. On top of that, he also had a horrible summer league, which you can take that for what it's worth. I understand it's the summer league. Trades A, you got a very good shooter, Austin Rivers, who I think is extremely underrated. You also get rid of Marcin Gortat, who was a cancer in the locker room. John Wall even said they needed more backup guard help, which they got with Austin Rivers. Free agent signings A, Jeff Green is a very underrated defender. I get he can be streaky and he's not very consistent, but when he's at his best is very good. Dwight Howard, listen, there's a reason he's been on so many teams, and it's not because of his talent. I think it was a very risky decision, but I think it's one they had to make. I mean, you can't even tell me who their starting center was after Marcin Gortat got traded. What, Jan Mahimi? That doesn't sound like a playoff quality starting center. I think if you can get Dwight Howard to work harder because he does like work ethic, can be a great pick or great decision. You also get Thomas Bryant off of waivers from the Lakers. I actually really like Thomas Bryant. I saw him a little bit when he played in Indiana. He was pretty good. He reminds me of OG Anunoby. Yeah. Overall B+. I would have gave you an A, but if you drafted somebody like Lonnie Walker instead of Troy Brown Jr., who I'm not very high on. This will do for the video. I understand this might have been a more boring video because I had a script and there was a lot of teams. I couldn't memorize all of this information or just speak it out of my brain like I usually do. So, I know it might have not been as entertaining as you wanted it to be, but I'm just happy I got it done. Thanks for watching. I would really appreciate if you like, because this video did take me a very long time to make. Please subscribe if you're new. Hit the notification button, and thank you so much for watching.